TMS, right?
Ooh.
Or
Not
no?
well, yeah, that's an I'm still good friends with Steven and Mitch, the other two members, but business wise I'm my own entity. But I do kind of
Interesting.
I do help them. They subcontract me to do some stuff, but um like
You guys,
legally I'm not, but public persona I'm still associated.
you're still in good. You're in still in good relations.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Okay.
I mean 98% of my time is completely unrelated to TMS.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't know you were completely unrelated. What was the? Is the what like the separations at public, or do you want to keep that to yourself?
Oh, some of it. I mean, I can briefly touch on it.
Yeah, there's no. There's so
Yeah,
okay.
because I.
The TMS Productions, the YouTube channel. That's how I knew of this guy. He had a big. He was one of the letters of TMS. I do remember correctly. But,
Yes, that is correct.
they're like a
Yeah.
filmmaking cameras kind of YouTube channel. It's pretty cool. They make pretty cool stuff. But I did know that you moved on a little bit, and I think you went to college, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I did. Yeah, I did 1 year at film school in Vancouver, BC, and then I'm just finishing up a 2 year diploma in business right now, actually,
Ooh,
back in my hometown. So yeah, getting that all going.
that's awesome, man.
Awesome. Yeah. But yeah, I did go my separate ways with them, like over a year ago now, and mostly just do they're more focused on the business side of things and just have different interests in general. Where I'm more into the kind of like art for art's sake thing, just making really good, meaningful stuff, and
Mm,
less interested in say producing. Like I didn't want to always produce videos about how to make films and how to be a filmmaker. I just wanted to make the films, if that makes
of,
any sense.
that
So
makes so much sense, man. I totally
yeah.
feel that because the suck, the like Satan's blood of YouTube is everyone making YouTube videos about how to make YouTube videos or making YouTube videos that are just for the algorithm, and then it just detracts from art, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
So where are you taking your focus now that you're more of the artist perspective on this?
Yeah. So I mean primarily most of my time is doing remote editing work for different clients on the freelance side of things. So for like production companies and freelance filmmakers, they'll send me their footage and then I'll edit it together like a commercial or whatever that is.
Mm.
So that's where most of my time is right now. And then on terms of the YouTube side, I just make videos that I'm actually genuinely like a subject I'm genuinely interested in, or that's basically it. If I want to make a video about something or I just want to have fun with it, I'll make a video about it. I'm not trying to put too much pressure on my YouTube channel right now. I haven't posted it in a minute. I got a couple of videos in the works, but yeah, majority of my time is like client freelance, and then YouTube's a little bit of that, and then also just I'm in university too, so doing a bunch of
Mm.
my classes and things like that. So,
And you
but
said that.
my
Oh,
oh, I was just gonna say my next the next video I'm doing for YouTube. I don't know if I'll post it next or the 2 videos from now, but I'm doing running my first marathon, so I'm
oh.
documenting that whole thing, which should be pretty fun. But
Has the marathon happened yet?
no, it's coming up. It's a ways away. It's in April. I'm like
Oh wow, so we got a long time to this guy.
yeah, I'm like a couple weeks into the training, but it's good. I'm getting some really nice footage and documenting it all, so I'm excited to see how that one all comes together.
Interesting. That is interesting. I do have a vast running background, so.
Yeah, I gathered that looking at a couple of your Instagram photos. What have you done in terms of running? Did you do it in school or outside of school?
Yeah,
Or
I
what?
did it. I did it in high school and then in college as well, so or university. What you
Oh
guys
wow.
call Why do you guys call it university like everywhere else?
Well, college and university are two different things here. So, college would be Well, you have like, what is it? Public college? Is it public college? What's like the level below your normal college?
We have
Like
community college.
community college. Okay.
Okay.
So it's not really the same. I don't know. It's tricky. College is more here in Canada. College is more similar to community college, but not that similar. Like it's still on par with university kind of. It's just a smaller institution. And then a university is like what you guys would call like a big college, like a UCLA or something. Like something big. And then a smaller institution I think would be considered a college, but there is a differentiation there. So technically I went to university for film school and then college for my business school stuff. But same kind of degrees, same everything out of it. It's not like one is less than the other. But yeah, we do differentiate, which is funny compared to you guys.
What is the goal? What's the goal of the business degree? Are you trying to push your stuff in a different direction? Are you trying to see how you can kind of capitalize on a more business mindset? And then I guess, how are you preparing for the ever increasing digital world we are living in?
Good question. Yeah, so the goal of the business degree was primarily to up my whole freelance whole side on that. Doing a lot of the classes I find are not too relevant with what I'm trying to do, but some of them, like, basic accounting, that's super useful. Anything to do with clients. Basics of marketing can be useful. I just took it to get a general idea on how the business side of things run, especially because I'm primarily get most of my income from freelance work or business law, right? Like contract writing. There's a lot of different takeaways from the general business school. Probably like 50-50, completely unrelated, but definitely learning a lot. And I think it was a good investment doing it for sure.
That's amazing. How are you getting these like freelance clients? Like, how does that process go?
Yeah, so I mean, back when I started TMS, we started TMS in like 2015. We just started doing it, just doing it for fun. And we did that for, many, up until, I was with them up until 2020, but like 3 years in, we started getting offers for freelance work just from random people. And the cool thing that we built with TMS is that our YouTube channel got big enough that it started fueling freelance projects.
Wow.
So the more we posted on YouTube, the more freelance offers we get. And that's kind of like the machine we kind of had going, which is really cool. So we never had to promote anything or do anything like that. We just got, people would just reach out to us because of word of mouth, or they just saw our stuff on YouTube. And then in terms of my own work, a lot of word of mouth too, because I've known quite a few people doing the TMS stuff. So my name has been out there in the local kind of communities for a bit as a guy who can do film and freelance. And then as well, I've messaged some people too. I have done a little bit of that kind of responding to people that are interested in getting editors or, offers. And then a lot of it's just repeat client work. So once you get a couple solid clients, you're rocking. So that's basically it. And then now my YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel, is starting to do a bit better, getting a few offers for freelance from there. And it just kind of grows, especially if the videos you make are filmmaking related or at a very high level of production, a very high production level. Then people will instantly be like, oh, I should hire this guy to do editing. I should hire this guy to do filming or photography. Whereas if you were posting stuff about, like your gardening, your gardening stuff, and you're just documenting the basics of it without any, extra cinematography spice in there, then I doubt people are going to be reaching out you for your filmmaking skills, but maybe your gardening skills. So the actual just genre of kind of filmmaking, fancy cinematography just leads to a lot of freelance work in general.
what was your original role within TMS? Because I know like there's three of you guys, and I know Mitchell seemed like he was more of the camera presence, right? And then were you mostly just editing work? Is that kind of your role?
Yeah.
Is that your specialty still now, kind of thing?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know. I don't say I do a lot of editing primarily because it's a lot of times it's remote. You can do it from home if you wanted, you know. I do enjoy it a lot. But yeah, with TMS, we never designated roles. Like, no one was the camera person, no one was this. Eventually, in the later years where I was there, it'd like kind of be like, okay, Mitchell's on camera more. Okay, Tommy's doing more of the behind the, like, I would film all the videos basically, and Stephen Mitch would be more in front of the camera, and then I would do a lot of the editing too. So the roles kind of developed themselves a little bit. But no, I wouldn't say I'm specialized in editing or specialized in that. I can definitely do filming, editing on camera, but yeah, editing would probably be like my main kind of special. I guess editing is just a bit over the others, and I do enjoy it a lot as well for the freelance side of things, especially. It's great. It's really good.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Do you see that volcano in Tonga?
I did not.
You didn't see that?
No. I
really? Is that like not a thing in Canada?
Dude, I just do my I kind of, like you said, I kind of do my own thing a little bit, but
no, gotcha.
I didn't see that, unfortunately.
No, you're good. Here, I'll explain it to you. So it's like middle of the Pacific Ocean, right?
Yeah.
Massive volcano just goes off. Like you can see it from satellite images. Like the satellite image, it's so big. You can see night cross over the image as it's going. Like the eruption is so big and long. It's crazy,
That's crazy.
dude. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, man. There was like I remember it was like heard all the way in Alaska, which is like 3,000 miles away, and it caused like an oil spill all the way to Peru.
When did it go off?
It went off like maybe a week ago.
Oh wow.
It was huge.
Wow, I don't know. I didn't hear about this.
But it was like luckily, dude, it was only a handful of casualties, man. It was like,
oh, that's good. Yeah.
It was like 3, which is still tough or something. But like I saw pictures of the island just covered completely in like this gray, ominous soot. Like could be actually for filmmaking, could be a very cool scene. You just go there right now. Just looks like hell, basically. But
that's wow.
They completely,
that's crazy.
It's nuts, dude. But it completely contaminated the water supply, so that's the real issue right now. So like all the rain is coming down with like gross sulfuric acid, but the saving grace is New Zealand is coming in with some foreign aid to drinking water. But my thing is like, man, if we weren't so global, would they just all die? You know, like what if this was 200 years ago? We wouldn't even probably know. They'd be like, why did the ground shake for a couple seconds? Yeah. Like, is that how deserted islands just start? And they're just, they're gone. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. That's a crazy story. Yeah. Well, that's how, you get islands like Hawaii, right? Big volcanic eruptions and spreads them bigger. And, yeah.
Have you ever been to a place where you can't drink the water?
I've been to Belize. I don't know if they didn't recommend drinking the water there.
How was that experience?
Good. That was great. Yeah, I did that with TMS.
It was great to not be able to drink the water.
Oh, not drinking the water.
No, you're good. Keep going.
I think the place we stayed at was, I think you could drink the water at the place we stayed at. Like,
gotcha.
Double checked. So that was fine. But
what was the trip?
It was with a group of my friends and our videography teacher, who was just the coolest guy. He'd been there lots. He's like a world traveler kind of guy. And so we went down so he took us to Belize basically, and we did some stuff in the jungle. We did some like rappelling and
Wow.
some caving, some spelunking. if you will.
Spelunking, bringing out the spelunkadunks.
Big word. And
Because you went to college, man. That's the only reason.
yeah, there you go. True. Enlightened. No, we did some caving, we did some of that, and then we went out to like a island kind of just like a little island with a nice little hotel kind of resort thingy on that, which was really cool. And did some like catamaran ride, and we swam with sharks and stuff. It was a pretty crazy trip. But no, I love Belize. It was beautiful there.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
A lot of people don't know that Belize, they speak English, right?
Do they? It's like a mix. It's so funny because they accept American currency there.
Yeah. I'm
But
pretty
it's
sure.
like double their own. It's like really, it's an
Oh,
interesting
really?
thing. Yeah. It's like a direct exchange rate. It's so weird. But
Interesting.
yeah, I think a lot of people did speak English, but it was tricky because we weren't in like the towns as much. We were like at this like place in the jungle, and then we were at this like island, which was a lot
Sure.
more like touristy. So we weren't like
Sure.
necessarily interacting with that many people. But yeah, pretty much everyone we saw was speaking English. That could be very true. I'm not entirely
Yeah,
sure on
I'm
that.
pretty sure it's interesting because I think their national language is English and their national currency is US dollar, which is
Yeah.
it's weird. I remember telling that to somebody once, and they're like, "Oh man, that's so screwed up. We're just taking over South America." And I was like, "Spanish, dog? Everywhere
Yeah.
else? What do you mean?"
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
That's the only reason that exists, you know? They're not supposed to speak Spanish. It's only
Yeah,
because people
no.
conquered them.
Exactly. What was I was gonna ask you about your YouTube channel. I remember I think I saw your climbing Mount Everest in the gym one.
Oh, yeah, on the stair climber.
That was funny. How was that? How was that after the fact? Were you like wiped out for a week? Like how did that go?
What was the order on that? So in that time span, I got like super into YouTube for a couple, like one of those couple week stints, man.
Yeah.
They're super into it, which is not a productive way to do it. I do not recommend spending 3 weeks going all out and then 2 months doing nothing. It's not the way to grow a channel. But I got super into it, so I think that week I ran a marathon barefoot, and then I came back
God.
like 2 days later, and we did the climbing of Mount Everest on a stair climber. And at that point, I'm like feeling really good. But like you'll probably, it's like the high after you finish a marathon, right? You're gonna feel that in April when you do that.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just, you feel untouchable, like limitless, like you can do anything, man.
Yeah.
But
100%.
then I was really scared, and you know how Mr. Beast did that, you of course you know who Mr. Beast is, but you know how he did that saying PewDiePie 100,000 times thing?
Yeah.
So I was
absolutely.
like, you know what, man? For the challenge of it, I want to see if I can say Mr. Beast 100,000 times. So
Oh
then
my
I did
God.
that, and that was a week. That was, yeah.
Did you actually do it?
Yeah, it took 15 hours.
Oh my! Straight? Did you just keep going?
I just went to the camera just kept rolling. Went to the bathroom, and just
Oh
come
my
back.
gosh!
Yeah, dude. And then afterwards, I was just like, I am on. And then I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. No. That's not good. You
Just
gotta pace
burns you
yourself.
out. But
Wow. Well, how was your voice after that? Did you lose your voice at all or anything?
so it was
or what?
interesting because after the first hour, I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make this, dude. Like, I was like getting the raspiness, and then I think I ate like a sandwich or something on camera, and I was like, you know, I'm feeling all right, and it just kind of went away. I don't know. And I don't know what it was. Body can do crazy things, man.
Gosh, that's nuts. Yeah, that's something I wouldn't try, but I commend you for it. That's so funny. And how many? I have to ask. So obviously you did a lot of running. What's your experience like with marathons? Like how many have you done, and how was the one barefoot? That sounds ridiculous.
I've never done an actual official marathon. I've done 2
Okay,
half
yeah.
marathons. I've ran the distance twice. One of them, funny story, I was my first first couple weeks of college. I moved out to Oregon. I was on the cross country team, and we had a meet in Seattle that weekend. And so we were leaving on a Thursday, and it was a Saturday meet, like Thursday early, like 6:30 in the morning or something like that. And then I was getting everything set up for my room because only the athletes had shown up to school yet, and it was only so all the students were coming in. So I was going to meet my college roommate. So
Right. Yeah.
but I was living in a 4-person suite, and I had been there for 3 weeks, and I took up the entire thing, like with all of my shit.
Oh,
you just
God.
take up the space
Yeah.
you had. So I was like nervous.
Yeah.
I was putting everything together, and then the next morning I woke up and I'm like, why is it light out? And I was like, fuck. And I realized, and it was like 7 o'clock. Bus was gone, dude. Missed it. Missed the first meet, which was, I was like, oh shit, bro. And so I started calling my coach, and they're like going in and out of mountains and stuff. So he's like, yeah, we're losing connection. I can't really call you, man. And I was like, well, can I just like can I fly to Seattle? Like, when am I going to get there? He's like, nah, man, you're not on the bus. You're not coming. And I was like, fuck. So I was like,
oh my God.
Well, I guess I could go run. And so I was like, so when you're in that system, it can get restricting. It's kind of like, a YouTube channel. It can be restricting. You have to do certain things. You have to boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm free. I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm in this cool, beautiful mountain town. So then I ran to the top of the mountain in town, which was like 7,500 feet tall. And it was like 14 miles up, 14 miles down.
Oh my God.
Took like 5 hours. It was and I didn't bring anything. No food or water. And I remember, this is the point you're going to get to in the middle of your marathon. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got to the top.
Yeah.
I was a scramble to the top. Like I was going up like a near cliff face. It felt like, like I ran a 22-minute mile going hard. Right. So that's slow, bro. You can walk a 15-minute mile on flat ground.
That's
right.
Yeah.
And so I start coming back down. I'm like starting to get a little dejected. I'm making another like mile or two down, and I'm like in the dumps. I'm running really slow. I should be going fast. I should be going like 8-minute pace or whatever. I'm going like 10 because I'm just like, man, this sucks. I'm tired. But then I tripped on a rock, ate shit, and then
oh my God.
I was like sliding down, and I was like, God damn it, Kalen, get your ass out of this. And I was like, no, just go. And I started thinking about Eliud Kipchoge, who is the greatest marathoner of all time. And I was thinking about him, and I was like, when it gets hard, the guy just smiles. And I was like, dude, this pain thing, it doesn't really matter. And I started like, okay. So the next mile, I'm like back at 8-minute pace, and I'm at like 7:30 pace, and then I'm at like 7:10 pace, and then I'm at like 6:40 pace, and then I end up like running like the last mile at like 6:30 pace, which is like
goodness,
quick. And I was like, dude, it's all in your head. Like the pain that you're going to feel, it's not real, man, because it's gonna end. Just remember that when you go on that journey.
Yeah, that is such a good tip. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. And then what about the barefoot one? How did that one go?
The barefoot one, so between the first one and the barefoot one, I stopped running competitively. So it wasn't like I wasn't in shape at all. Like I had run like maybe 4 times in the 2 months leading up to it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a no training kind of thing.
Oh,
and
boy.
Also at 7,000 feet of elevation. So there's like a third of the air. Or there's only 2/3. There's a third less air, basically.
Yeah.
So it's much harder to breathe. And then the barefoot aspect. So I got out to the road, and I was like, man, dude, this is kind of rough. It's not like a smooth road. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it a mile on this shit. So I I just put like a thin layer of tape under my feet. And that's what I went for. And then it kept falling off, and we'd have to rape it around my toes and stuff. But then,
Oh
like,
my
basically,
God.
a car just was in front of me for most of it. And we were just going, started off nice, and then by the end, it started to get really hard, and I was, like, locking in, going really slow. But the funny part is the last half mile was up the biggest hill of the whole day. Like, it ended at the very top. We didn't know where it was going to, and it just, like, I was like, God, let's go. And I was trying to break 5 hours, and I ran, like, 4:57 or something, so it was awesome.
That's actually pretty. That's impressive, dude. 4:57. How are your feet after too? Were they like torn up or what?
I mean, I have a bit of a barefoot walking around kind of I don't want to call it personality. That's not a personality trait. I don't like when people say like, "Oh yeah, my personality trait is that I'm vegan," or my personality trait is that I'm chill, you know? Like, that's my favorite.
No.
I'm chill,
100%.
man. It's like, that is not a personality trait. That is maybe a state of being. I don't know.
Yeah, aspect of you. Yeah, not your identity. Yeah.
But the feet were all right, actually. I think it took like 2 days, and then I was able to like walk mostly on it. But I would imagine people who don't walk around barefoot would have been destroyed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Do you run in like barefoot shoes and stuff too normally?
I run in, so the shoes I run in are called Zero shoes. They are shoes.
Okay.
They're like, imagine like a normal tennis shoe, except the thing under your actual foot is like the size of a sandal. So it can like tie in, but like you still feel the ground and the earth and like twists in your feet and stuff, which I like and I think is super beneficial to running, because if you can, like, running in shoes, everyone will tell you, a lot of people will tell you otherwise, but it's so unnatural, man. It's so unnatural, right? Wearing clothes is unnatural. Sleeping in beds is like, that's all like weird.
Yeah.
Wearing this is very like, what are, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, all of the injuries and foot stuff we have, like, I don't think they didn't exist in the numbers that we have today, because we didn't sit in an office chair for 7 hours. We didn't, you know, eat Cheetos, and we didn't wear shoes, you know? So
absolutely.
I definitely have a part of me that is tries to get back to like raw human at as much as I can in certain aspects of my life, and barefoot is just one that's it just feels good to me. And it takes a couple weeks or so to get used to, but
what book did I read such a good book on barefoot running. I can't.
Born to Run?
Yes, yeah. Boom, there you go. Such a good book. That was amazing. Yeah, no, after reading that, I'm like, very interesting.
That was kind of the catalyst, man. I read that book, and I was like, you don't have to eat cheeseburgers and wear tennis shoes all the time. Because it was just like, that was kind of what, especially in the Midwest, man, we're like, you know, we're 20 years behind. So, like, we're still living. Like, health food wasn't a thing until like 2010 here. So.
Right. Yeah. 100%. That's awesome.
I read that book and I was like, wow, that's so interesting, because the cool thing about reading books, you know, is you just get to experience other people's life, and you're like, whoa, I didn't even know I could be that or do that. And now I kind of want to. So I was like, I'll just try the barefoot thing out. And the thing was, I had years of injury. I was like a really good runner freshman year of high school, and then I was hurt for like 3 years. And then in the middle of those, I started the barefoot, and then I haven't had a serious injury since then. So
oh wow.
So it's been, I mean, part of that I will attest was, you know, a number of things. Like, I helped during the barefoot process, I helped kind of make my form more natural and efficient, and more of like a natural ground contact. But and also I went plant-based too.
Oh wow, nice.
So that, I think, definitely had some kind of help. Like, it's not like I know there's all this shit with all the like, I'm vegan. Like, fuck that. Like, literally, I do it because I thought it was like a healthy thing to do, and then I think one of my all-time favorite questions is like, where do you get your protein, bro? Like everyone that has no idea what it is, like that's what they say. That's one of those things that's just I don't know, like a recirculation of thought, and then people just have to like say it. It doesn't feel original in any way. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome, dude.
It's like
that's so cool.
It's like the news, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Unoriginal in any way.
Yep.
Do you guys get bad wildfires out there?
Yes, quite bad. Yeah, it just depends season to season, but yeah, usually quite a lot.
I have a friend who was doing California wildfires last year, and dude, they live the craziest lifestyle, man. They he said, yeah, we work 16-hour days, 7 days a week until our mission is done. So like it could be a week, it could be 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they rest for 3 days and they do it again.
Yeah, crazy.
And the entire time they're in off-grid, sleeping on the ground. It's cold. It gets cold, really cold at night. And then there's also the immediate threat of death at all times.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Not for me, but anyone that does it, huge respect. That's crazy. That's awesome.
But
do you like... oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, but the funny thing is he said that most of the people prefer it over real life, as they call it. They're like,
I could, yeah.
They said they oftentimes like lose their girlfriends and stuff because the people that don't live in it don't understand that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be off grid for 6 days. I'm not gonna contact you. And she said that people just don't understand it. But for whatever reason, just living in that sense of I have a job to do. Every hour of the day I'm not sleeping. There's something to do. And I think that can be fulfilling to a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. How do you like, I was going to ask, how do you like Illinois compared to like Arizona? Like where was your favorite place you've lived so far?
So the West Coast is, have you been to the States?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, quite a few
you frequent the States. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I've been around a lot of the West Coast in Arizona, and they're super beautiful. But I just, whatever reason, I was talking about this the other day, but if I ever wanted to like raise a family, I don't think I would do it out there because it just feels like kids have it just so good and they don't know. It's just so beautiful and they don't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then also a little bit of I think the politics are a little on the over end of everything. It just seems a lot to me, and I don't know. I'm not super crazy. I feel like there's a lot of what I've noticed is a lot of what I call Instagram politics. It's when people post on their stories about some random guy tweeting something and they're like, see, this is why everything's wrong in the world. And I'm like, bro, stop. Like,
yeah. Fair
or
enough.
that happens 100% on, the far sides of anything. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with either side of anything. I'm like,
yeah, somewhere down the middle.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, dude. Oh, yeah. What? I know Canada is pretty strict on, for sure, COVID and lockdown. And how has that life been? And what is it like compared to the United States? And are Canadians worried about the United States?
About the United States? In terms of COVID, like
in terms of general like will we make it kind of thing.
Oh, I think people are pretty confident. First of all, the United States are gonna be fine. I don't know. I think so much of it is just blown out of proportion too, and a lot of things. So the truth is somewhere in the middle. But in terms of COVID, Yeah, it's pretty strict. I mean, I've been super fortunate because I work from home. I'm self-employed. I basically do all my classes from home. So for me, I mean, haven't had other than like the basic restrictions, it hasn't really affected me too much, which has been just such a blessing, and I'm so privileged to have that. But yeah, I don't know. I think yeah, at this point, I mean, people are pretty. I don't know. I can't speak for other people because I'm just have such a narrow view on it. But I'll just speak for myself. Then yeah, it's obviously been tough, but I've been able to still work and still go to school and still do everything. So yeah, that's
good.
The general view on it.
Are you guys in lockdown right now? And
not, no, I wouldn't say lockdown. It's shops are open, everything's open. You just got to wear a mask inside, and then we have like vaccine passports if you want to go inside like restaurants and something like a gym or something like that.
So in order to get into the gym, you have to. Interesting. Is that? I mean, to me personally, that feels pretty restrictive. But like, it just seems like, I don't know. It's like, yes, vaccine probably pretty good, but as soon as you start telling people what to do, it starts to get a little wishy-washy for me. And it's like, people can make their own choices to do what they want to do. And that's where it starts to cross this weird line of like, how much role does government have in your life in controlling what you do and what you can't do, and where does it go after that?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like I have no issues with vaccines. I think they're great, honestly. Like, and I guess the perspective on it, I can see for why people against the whole, oh, it's my own right to go into the gym is like, well, yeah, if you get it and you spread it to a old lady who dies, it's like that's, you could have prevented that probably or helped to stop that. So that's the other side of it. But like you said, yeah, it's a bit of a gray area, but I'm definitely on board for. I don't have any issue with it personally. I think it's fine, but it's just my view on it.
What was your guys' initial kind of roadmap into filmmaking and art?
Oh, good question. So I got a GoPro for Christmas when I was like 12 to make ski edits. Like downhill skiing, which I did quite a few of. And then I just do other like little things with this GoPro Hero 3. That's how long ago this was.
Wow.
With I just do a bunch of other like little videos of me like skateboarding or what else did I do? Like film like my vacations, like if I went on a trip somewhere, I just put together edits of those. And then in grade, and that was all by myself with like my friend across the street. And then in grade, what was that? Grade 9, I've been friends with Stephen and Mitchell, the other two members of TMS. And they used to kind of make a bit of videos on their own. So I was talking to them. Sorry, it's so long ago. I was talking to them, and I was like, "Hey, like, we should make videos together. Like, you wanna do something together?" And they were like, "No, like, that's a horrible idea. Like, I don't know. Blah 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 blah." Anyway, eventually I convinced them. Yeah, as it is. But eventually I somehow was like, "No, let's do it. Let's start a channel." So we started TMS, and Mitchell made the name just because it was all of our first initials, and it was like a temporary name. But of course, that was the name we went with. From there, our first video was it was called "The Best Mode of Transportation," and
Ooh.
At the time we all had penny boards, if you remember those, like the mini skateboards, the really small skateboards, and because we couldn't drive or anything, we were too young. We would just like penny board all around town and go here and go there. So we put together this whole video of us just skateboarding around town, and it was, yeah, I mean, looking back on it now, it's cute. We were trying. We were trying. Definitely, definitely grew a lot from there. But then we just kind of kept going. A lot of our earlier stuff too was like little short films that we made, or things like a biking edit of a friend that like does dirt jumping on bikes and like stuff like that. So we would just kind of film anything and everything. And then as we got a little bit older, grade kind of 10, 11, 12, we started, I guess you guys use like senior, I don't even know how that works. Whatever. Anyway, grade 10, 11, 12, we really started to like hone in on our skills and start doing more kind of filmmaking related stuff, which was kind of what you kind of need on YouTube, a bit of a niche. So, and at the same time, we were doing a lot of photography too. So for me, film and photography just go hand in hand. Because if I'm basically what it used to be like, now I'm more intentional if I go and take photos. But before it'd be like, oh, we're going out to film somewhere. I have this great shot lined up. Oh, I might as well take a photo too. And that was basically how I would do photography. Now I'll do like an actual shoot because my girlfriend's a photographer. So we do a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of different shoots together, which is really fun. And then we just started getting more and more specialized, and you get better and better and at different things. And then now, in the last year or so, since I've been doing my own thing, I've been really kind of just ditching the whole usual YouTube route. I've done a few video essays, which are really, really nice, really fun to do. I did one on Formula One and how that's filmed, which did really well.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and no one had done a video on it. I was like shocked.
How is it filmed?
How is it filmed? I mean, it's like a 15-minute video. It's a long video, but they have like a few hundred cameras, hundreds of microphones, lots of different types of cameras. It's like 5 cameras on board each of the cars. 100 cameras on the track, and then it all in real time gets processed together and then broadcast out, which is it's incredible.
How do they get the zoom, 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 zoom?
The zooming? Yeah.
How do they get that?
The sound. I mean, the sound. They just record it because that's what they sound like. But for the whip pans, I mean, it's just really skilled camera operators that just whip it, which is crazy.
So who's like somebody in the control tower, just like, I need camera 9, camera 32, camera 47, like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. So there's 3 different like teams basically that cut together the different like feeds. So that you have the on-track feed, which is just like following the cars along the track, and just all the trackside cameras. And then you have the pit lane and the crowd. Oh, no, sorry. No, then you have a replays team, which if something exciting happens, like a crash or someone passes someone, they'll be going, as soon as it happens, they'll get the whole team going and be like, okay, we need all these angles of this. Okay, we want to replay this in slow-mo. They get together a little replay package, and they'll be like, yeah, we got a replay package ready. So then you have the main world feed, which then will include things like pit stops, the crowd reactions, and the statistics on screen, what position everyone's in, the team radio over top if drivers are saying something. They'll compile all that together along with the track mix and the replays team, and they'll mix it all together into like the final live production. So it's like it's a ton of people. How do they do this
live? How do they do everything live? Is there a delay or something, or
no?
Completely live.
I mean, maybe it's like a 5-second delay. That's usually like kind of standard on TV, but it would not be more than that. They're nuts. And then you have commentators too going over top, commentating it all. Yeah.
Jesus,
and then no one made a video on it. I was like, what are you guys doing? So
you don't even think about that.
Yeah. I mean, I always have, because I have a film background, but yeah. But yeah, someone who would just watch normally, they, you don't think twice, and you're just like,
they're just like, cool. Oh, this is how it goes,
It's like insane logistics.
Jesus, 1,000 cameras are operating at the same time, giving live feedback.
Yeah,
Jesus.
exactly.
And then what were you saying? You were making a different one also?
Oh yeah, I did one on. Do you know Studio Ghibli? I don't know if you know them.
Yeah,
They
the
did like
Spirited Away, that one?
Spirited
Yeah.
Away. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a classic. And then they made another one called My Neighbor Totoro, which is it's a great. You should watch it. It's such
Okay.
a beautiful film. Oh my goodness. Um, so I did a video analysis, like a video essay on the cinematography in My Neighbor Totoro. It's an animated film, and I broke it down into the composition, camera movement. What else did I do? The color, and the I did something else too, didn't I? The sound, maybe. I can't remember what the other thing was. Anyway, I broke it down into a bunch of things and discussed it and why it makes the film so great. And that was a new one for me because it's not like I'm filming any footage for that. I'm getting existing footage from the film itself and then chopping it up into, I went from scratch. I just watched the entire film several times and then thought of like, okay, what are they doing with the composition? Okay, like how it's framed, how it's shot. Like, okay, why would they pick this angle? Okay, do they do this a lot? What does this mean? What could this mean? Is there some deeper interpretation of it? And just thinking about that, and then like, okay, let's look at the camera movement. When are they moving the camera? Why are they moving the camera? And I don't know if I'm right or not. I just did my own interpretation on it, obviously, which is, I mean, that's all you can do really when you're doing that kind of video. But yeah, I'm really proud of that one. That one came out well. And the other thing is I do all the music production for like create all the music for
You
all the
make your
videos on my
music?
channel. Yeah, yeah, I do.
What?
I
So you got a
do,
whole
yeah.
music background also.
Well, I did piano when I was like 3 to like 15, but like, nothing wild. I did nothing competitive. It was all like at home piano. So I just kind of understand the basics of music theory and how to play piano. And then when I was like literally last year, I'd always be like, yeah, I could see myself getting into music production. If it wasn't, I could see myself being just as interested in music production if I wasn't into film. But, another life, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yeah.
I basically just wrote it off because I was into film. And then I was like, wait, just do it. Like, just try making music. It's not that. Anyway, so ended up being able to figure it out, and I am an absolute novice, but the biggest compliment to me is when someone watches a video and doesn't realize that I've made the music, which is great. So that's another part of the new development in the kind of, like you said, the original question, like the art and the craft of it is now I make like with the exception of when I like do a video essay and I use other people's footage or images, but like I make every single part of the video from like start to finish, which is a really, really cool
That's
feeling.
cool.
It's like, yep, none of this existed and now it does. It's like, damn. And then the final video essay I did, which was my last video I posted, was on Tom Sachs, who's a very interesting guy.
Oh, the
And
guy in Fan Nystats? All of their videos?
yes,
Ah.
yes, exactly. So I did a whole video essay on him.
Who is he?
Who is Tom Sachs?
Who is Tom Sachs?
He is and he does a lot of stuff, but he's basically a sculptor. Like he makes sculptures out in New York, very famous artist, buddies with like Frank Ocean and all
Oh,
these
wow.
crazy famous artists. So he has such a specific art style where he likes to show like the human touch and the human element in the art. So he'll like,
Ooh.
it's if you just look up an image of like Tom Sachs art or sculpture, then you'll totally see what I mean. He like leaves like wood like unpainted on the ends. He'll leave like the glue drips and the screws that put stuff together, and it's kind of like bricolage is the right word for it. You're combining a bunch of different like random elements together to make something entirely new. So he's a very interesting guy. That was a cool video to make on him as well, because I've been a fan of his work for a while. So to dissect it and get into his kind of background and how he makes his art and all that jazz was really interesting as well.
That is so prevalent in the Neistat brothers, like all of their stuff
Yes,
they do.
yes.
I didn't put that together. That's
It's
crazy.
it's so crazy when you I have a bit in my video where I just show the 3 different offices of them, and you're like, okay, like this is where
Wow.
this is the original inspo. I mean, obviously Casey and Van put their own spin on it. They do their own things, but like you look at Tom Sachs and you're like, that makes sense. That's why Casey's videos are this certain way, or that's why Van, does this in this way. Or, a lot of the video side of things were actually from Van. He kind of developed that style along with Tom Sachs. And then Casey turned it into like less artsy and more like YouTubey, which obviously worked amazing for him and was always one of my heroes growing up. But to see the original inspo of Tom Sachs, it's so fascinating. You're like, oh, okay, I see the connection. I see where that came from. Yeah, he's a really fascinating guy for sure.
Have you got to talk to any of them before?
Oh, this is another funny story. So I personally haven't, but I was talking to Steven, and this was like in the summer and the fall of last year. I was talking to Steven, one of the guys at TMS, on the phone, and I was like, oh, I'm doing this video on Tom Sachs, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, then that night, completely out of the blue, they get an email from Tom Sachs' assistant, and they didn't know who Tom Sachs was before. Yeah, no, just completely out of the blue. And the assistant was like, hey, blah, 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 we saw this video you guys made, and it was one of like the POV head rig ones. We did a video where, like, how people will put a GoPro on their head and film like a travel video. We had the idea to like, oh, what if we put a cinema camera on your head and then film the travel video that could have like shallow depth of field, and you could pull focus from, like, if you're holding a mug, the mug would be in focus and the background would be nice and blurry, and then you could rack focus to the background. So we did a whole video traveling around Washington and Oregon, filming with this rig. Which was really cool. That was sponsored by Epidemic Sound. So that was back in 2019, I think, and or 2020, sorry. And so we did a whole video on that, and then I guess Tom was looking to do. I can't say too much on it because it's kind of classified, but he was doing a new project where he wanted to have this cinematic first person look. So anyway, they contacted Steven and Mitch and was like, oh, Tom wants to speak with you. The next day, they're on a call with Tom Sachs himself, which is just why I'm just over here like making my little YouTube video on them, and now they're in like a big meeting with them. Like, oh boy, that's crazy. So anyway, they ended up doing a bunch of work for him. They like flew him out to New York, and they did some a lot of shooting for them. They went to Germany with him. They did a bunch of stuff.
Really?
So yeah, they're like his like go-to filmers now, which is so cool, which is crazy. Yeah.
You get a little FOMO from that?
Not really. I mean, I left TMS to do my own thing, so it's like I wouldn't trade that to be, go back and not have my own passions and do my own stuff now. So not really. I'm just happy for Steven and Mitch. I think it's really cool, and
that's cool.
You never know. It's always good to have people that know people like Tom Sachs. So who knows? But yeah, definitely cool. Definitely a little part of me that's like, oh,
man,
okay, that's wow. I wish, but no. At the same time, I'm totally happy doing what I'm doing. So yeah.
I think I found you guys from your like Casey Neistat on a budget video. Like that's when I first saw you guys. That one was pretty fun, dude.
Yeah, that was fun. That we shot in Tofino for, I think that was for Music Bed. That was a really fun one, and that's how TMS really got pretty big. Was those on a budget videos. We did one on Casey Neistat. We did one on Peter McKinnon, and then we did one on Sam Colder. So if you're into filmmaking on YouTube at all in the last few years, like the usual suspects, I guess. But they all did. They would do well. Those were a ton of fun to film and put together, and just think like, okay, how would Casey Neistat do this, and how can we take it up another level to where it's funny or whatever. So we did like surfing, and we did skateboarding in a suit, except we did like a boosted board, but instead of it being an electric boosted board, I dressed up as a boosted board and then had like the green arrow and then pulled Mitchell on a rope while he was on a skateboard. So yeah, those were always really fun and always got a lot of stares when we were shooting those. Yeah. But yeah.
I remember that there was like an airplane shot or something. Yeah. You so got me with that one, man. There was. Yeah. Explain that one.
Was it okay? Because we've done a couple. Was it like where it went through the engine, like the hollow engine?
No. It was the one where it looked like you were like in like first class or something, and then you like revealed it.
Oh,
and you guys were.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you were talking about like a drone FPV shot. Yeah, that one's funny. That's a really good story. That one I used to work at a camera shop. And there we did like prints. You could print photos. So hence I have a ton of different photos in my room. I did those all for free when I was at the camera shop. And then anyway, I left that job eventually. But we wanted to do a shot because Casey Neistat always, like a classic on like his earlier vlogs, he would always be on planes and like traveling somewhere. So he would do this shot where he like wrote in Sharpie on his hand and he'd be like, it's 5 a.m. or something, or he'd like something like that. And he'd write on his hand and then show it to the camera, like as he was vlogging. I don't know. It's just what he did. It was like one of his like quirks, I guess, that he would do. But, and he'd always be on a plane and he'd like open the shutter and be like, it's 5 a.m. something. So we're like, how can we replicate that? We don't actually have the budget or the means to get a plane to do one shot. Like that's so ridiculous. So in Stephen and Mitchell's basement, I printed off a photo of like clouds that you would see from an airplane, like kind of a sunset.
Yeah.
And then we went to like an old like vintage thrift store and we looked around and we're like, we need something to represent the plane window, I think. And something like oval, something in that shape. The only thing we could find, which was so perfect, was a toilet seat. So we got the toilet seat. We hung up the toilet seat, and then we put the image that I printed behind the toilet seat, and then we got like a black kind of just curtain or whatever in front of the toilet seat and then just cut out a hole so it's just the window that you can see through, and then had some gaps so it looked like more realistic. So there's like maybe a meter between this big image of clouds and the plane window, and then shone a light through the back of the photo so it looked like it was actually like bright. Looked like, I don't know if you ever seen a photo like that. It's a really popular way to do like high-end photography displaying. You actually have lights in the frame behind and it illuminates it. It's a really, really cool look. But in this case, it made it look so realistic. So we could just literally film it like we were through the window out of the plane, pull out, looked like pretty legit, pull out. Mitchell did his whole vlog thing. And then we cut to like another shot, like a wide shot of like me walking into the room, filming Mitchell, and then my sister was actually helping us and she was holding up the black drape, and then we had her like drop it, like she was shocked, and then it fell down and then you could totally see it was just like a toilet seat and like the like photo behind. So that one, I'm actually thinking back on that, I'm really happy how that one turned out. That
one was really cool.
That was wild. But yeah, no, we definitely did a lot of fun videos in TMS. We always had a great time shooting them too.
What's your favorite animated movie of all time?
Oh, good question. I mean, one kind of a shoo-in. I already talked about it. My Neighbor Totoro. Love that one. So beautiful. Oh my gosh. Another one I love, the animated Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, I do like that one. It's really good.
That's ridiculous. Do I have it's hard to think of just animated movies.
Any Pixar's, man?
Oh, I do love Pixar. Up, I mean, classic. classic.
First 15 minutes up are like one of the greatest short films of all time.
So it's deadly. It's deadly. Yeah, I do love a lot of Pixar. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I actually read a really good book to read. Is the I think it's called Imagine Inc. or something.
Imagine.
Or Creative Inc. Creative Inc. I think it's Creative Inc. My bad. And it's by the guy who created Pixar. Originally founded it, and it's the story of Pixar and how they got there. So fascinating because they made the first ever computer 3D animated film with Toy Story in like 2001 or something. I don't know when exactly, but yeah, they take you through the whole thing and then how it like runs now and the different teams and their whole methodology of it all. It's so fascinating.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other Pixar movies that I liked growing up.
Monsters Inc. Nemo.
So many of those I saw when in like 2003, 2000 something that I haven't seen since.
Ooh.
Nemo. I know. I gotta dive back into them.
Go back for Monsters Inc. I think Monsters Inc. could even be underrated. I think.
Oh, it's highly rated.
Because here's my take is. Like Incredibles or, Up or, Nemo. I feel like the emotions that you experience are, they might be slightly limited, but in Monsters Inc., you have dejection, you have when Boo just doesn't want any part of you ever again. You have the joys of when you're together. You have the sadness of when you think they dies. You have the worry of when you think the whole world's coming on. It's got everything in my mind. I'm a big fan of Monsters.
I'll have to watch it again. But yeah, I remember loving it as a kid. Is that your favorite animated film?
My favorite Pixar. I think my Pixar goes Monsters Inc. Toy Story, top 3. Those are top 3.
Oh, Cars. That's another classic.
American West, man.
Gotta love it.
Who's your favorite director of all time?
Oh, good question. Favorite director of all time? I've always loved Christopher Nolan. Got some classics. Wes Anderson.
Interesting.
I gotta see the new French Dispatch. I haven't checked that one out. But Grand Budapest Hotel is top 3 favorite movie of all time.
Wow. I had some guy on
those are my
2 days ago. And
yeah.
He was Wes Anderson, Grand Budapest Hotel. You gotta watch it, man.
Was he?
Yeah. Maybe you guys have a hidden connection. Smart guy. His name is Bryce. He makes music in LA. You should go hit him up, I guess.
Oh wow, cool. That's awesome. What was I gonna say? Have you seen Grand Budapest Hotel? I'm guessing you.
I've not seen Grand. I've only watched. I watched the first 4 Wes Andersons. So
okay, yeah.
So I really liked his first one. Shoot, what's the name of it? Do you remember? Bottle Rocket.
Oh, I haven't seen any. I'm such a fake Wes Anderson fan. I've only seen Moonrise Kingdom and Grand Budapest Hotel, but I haven't dove back.
Watch this first one. I like it. It's a different style. It's cool. It's got
I'll check it out. Yeah.
Owen Wilson when he's 16. Actually,
yeah,
the
they're
three main
always
characters.
Working together.
The 3 main characters are Wilson brothers. It's funny.
Wow! What the heck? That's interesting. That's super interesting. I was gonna say, I do have to go on a run pretty quick here.
Don't want to hold you up from your run.
Yeah, got a 12K run today in my training. Should be, I don't know what that is in miles, but what is that? 7 is a little?
7
something like that.
Give you 7
I don't know my miles too well, but yeah, I got a new running watch which I've been loving, and I'm gonna try it out today.
Let's go, man. Okay, one piece of advice for the rising filmmaker that wants to be just like you.
Just like me. I don't know if you want that. One piece of advice. That's a great question. Let me think. Let me give a good answer here. Yeah, I would say, well, okay, this is in particular if you wanted to say do it on YouTube. It's I'm still learning this too. This is such a valuable lesson, but you'll have so much more success, such a cliche thing, but doing your own make what you actually want to make. Don't make like, a mukbang because you see your favorite YouTuber make one. Like actually create things that you actually want to create, and you'll have so much more success doing that. And people will feel that in the video if you're actually passionate about something, or if you're just doing it to do it, So that would be my one tip of advice. And I had something else to go with that, but it's some crucial piece of information they need to know has just slipped my mind. So I don't.
All good, man.
But yeah, I fell into that. It's easy to fall in that trap too, where you're like, which I'm sure you've had that too when you had your YouTube stint, where you're like, I just gotta make something. What am I gonna do?
Gross. But,
okay, do you actually want to make it? No? Okay, what do you actually want to make? Okay, make that. And maybe it won't do as well, but in the long run, you'll feel better, and honestly, your channel will do better too in the long run, for sure. For sure.
So there's a power to creating that audience that actually gets to see the full you, and it's a special thing we got in this world today. But thank you for going on, Tommy. It's been a pleasure.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Great interviewer. You're very, very good. I'm excited to hear some of these other guests you have lined up. You're doing great. You're going to go far with this, I'm sure. You got a good thing going here.
Sweet, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
See you later, everybody.